Why is it important, why is it critical to you that the Workhouse is closed?
The Workhouse is not just a symbol of oppression. It is a literal monument to oppression every single day. 90% of the people in the Workhouse are pre-trial detainees. It means they have not been found guilty of any single crime, and yet they're being jailed every day. They're not being given proper medical attention. They are existing in conditions that we would not wish on our worst enemies. Rats, mice, toilets that overflow, food that should not be eaten by anyone. 47% of St. Louis City is black, but 8 times as many detainees in the Workhouse are black as are white. If we can't close the Workhouse, if we cannot look at this monument of daily oppression and say this should never happen on our watch with 16 million of our tax dollars every single year, then we should all pack it up and go home. There are just some things that are right and there are some things that are wrong. And stealing labor from our neighbors and fellow citizens in order to sustain profits for folks who take no interest and make no investment in communities is something that we should be clear is fundamentally wrong. Summers ago, detainees in the Workhouse were literally screaming out of the windows because the temperatures in the Workhouse ranged from 90 degrees to 125 degrees. In the middle of a St. Louis summer. Now, we don't know how hot a St. Louis summer is without privilege, when we can get in a car or turn on an air conditioner or go to a home that is not overflowing with feces and actually have the kind of relief that we need in these hot St. Louis summers. But here you are expected to live and sustain a life that way while you are giving your basically free labor to the state of Missouri. It is completely unacceptable. It is a human rights violation. We should all be ashamed that it exists in our city. There's a woman named Lele Polanco, a trans woman who just died in Rikers Island last week because she couldn't afford $500 bail. $500 bail. Rikers Island is no different than the Workhouse. And everyone wants to talk about what's happening in New York City, and we should, but those kinds of atrocities are happening right here in what other people call flyover country, but what we have to actually pay attention to. And we owe our neighbors their humanity. Like we do. There, but by the grace of God, know why. That could be any one of us living in that circumstance, trying to exist in that circumstance, fighting to get back to our families, fighting to get back to our homes, fighting to get back to our jobs. And we could be caught there because we can't afford $250, $500. We could be caught there because of a system of inequity that persists in this city that declares that some have to be haves and some have to be have-nots. It is an absolute atrocity. We should all be ashamed that its doors are open, and we should all be doing every single thing that we do to close the Workhouse as a beginning to the work of equity in the city.
A federal judge just this week ruled that detainees cannot be held because they cannot afford bail. Is that a step in the right direction?
It is absolutely a step in the right direction, but it is a step, right? So cash bail, money bail is a deeply flawed system across this country. It essentially criminalizes poverty, and we've been criminalizing people for conditions that we created and that we benefit from, right? So it's a disgusting cycle. So it is a step in the right direction, but the broader conversation has to be how we remove the incentive for profit from somebody's incarceration altogether. And that is not just about money bail, right? That is also about court fines and fees. That is also about the excessive policing that we experience in so many of our Black and brown communities because folks want to raise their revenue off of our backs. That is also about making sure that companies are not incentivized to make their products in places like the Workhouse. That means we don't buy coffee from the places that get their coffee cups from there, right? It is a step in the right direction, but the fundamental, cash bail is a symptom. The fundamental virus is greed, because we can essentially take people's free labor while they are incarcerated and make profit off of them. If we remove the incentive for profit, we can remove the incentive for the system to exist.